Welcome back to Green to State Bounty News, the news with a tinge of mutiny. We've got a special guest, the Dean.ProQuo on today, as is known on social media platforms. Welcome to the studio, the mobile studio. Dean, can we call you Dean? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm Dean. Hi everybody. Welcome to the Bounty News, brought to you by the Dean.ProQuo and Green to Stay. So it sounds a bit cheesy, but that's who we are.
So what's our topic today? We've been briefly mulling over, as we do. You and I, we're not ones to sort of spend too much time on trivial things, on vanity. We like to look into the meaty issues of the day, particularly here in Australia, of what we think drives the attitudes of people, how we can make a difference in the world. And we've been talking about materialism a little bit. What do you think, Dean?
I think it's a great topic to talk about because what are we doing? What are we standing for? What are we actually doing? And it seems like, for a very short period of time, we were sort of given a holiday, so to speak. I mean, everybody says it's COVID, whatever. People might argue it wasn't a holiday. It was so hard financially. Everybody struggled. Yes, but it gave you time with family. It gave you time with people who cared about you. And then all of a sudden it was just forgotten. Like, I don't believe how that COVID sort of brought you back to families. And a lot of us lost family. A lot of us were able to talk to each other. Some of them we reunited. There's been a lot of loss, but really, what did COVID really do?
Yeah, and you and I, we've spoken about this before. I personally think, Dean, that the authorities, the government, the establishment, the globalists, whoever you want to call them, missed a fantastic opportunity. Like you just said, you were talking about a glitch in the system. I think they missed an opportunity to foster in a different kind of strategy for humanity. Well,
how many times have we heard about these glitches and this control factor and the old story throughout mankind about oppression and control, and it's an ongoing story that just doesn't seem to want to change. It doesn't seem to want to change. And when I say it, we are it, and it seems like whatever choices that we make are going to determine not only what happens to us right now and what we're talking about right now, but it's going to determine them tomorrow as well. But we're all going back to the same thing.
Yeah.
For what reason?
Yeah.
We had an opportunity to change things, go in, more an environmentally friendly way, think outside the square, if there is such a square.
You and I have spoken about this constantly.
Yeah.
And I agree with a point that you brought up not long ago, that you were encouraged that there had been an increase in the so-called awakening. Do you still feel that way now? You still think people are awakened a little bit more?
Well, there seems to be a lot of reflection in that in the social media sense. I mean, more people are talking about it, but that's all it seems to be left at. It just seems to be a conversation that everybody's realised, or they feel woke or enlightened, or they can see things. But in reality, as you can see this video, here we are, driving through the streets. No offence to anybody's registration that comes up. We hope you don't get offended with it, which is for the purposes of the video. And if you've got a problem, let us know. Either, you can come to Dean.ProQuo or Green to Stay, and we'd be happy to sort of apologise. We do apologise in advance. It's not an infringement. So this is the thing, that doesn't seem to make any sense at all. Not to me. I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else, because everybody's talked about this whole what are we doing?
Yeah. Exactly.
And it seems like we've just gone back to what we're used to. Like we're just working for the man, we're working for the money, but what money? What are we doing with the money?
Yeah. Well, what about this current period we're in now? Like you said, everyone seems to have gone back straight into the status quo system.
Yeah.
But now there is an acknowledgement of the increased threat to humanity by way of military conflict, but definitely in the way of climate change and climate disasters. I don't know if you've...
No, I have noticed that there seems to be like so much contention on it, and there seems like it's almost like a if you wanted to, you could sort of see it as a double-sided coin. I mean, it's the same coin. You got two sides. You got one side that's saying, "Oh no, climate change doesn't exist. It's just scaremongering," and then you've got people like that are sitting on the United Nations board and the scientific department that are saying, "No, the verdict is out. We do have, and we're at a catalyst. We're at a precipice of." Basically it's our survival that's on the line.
Yeah,
and when you hear news like that, you go, oh, whoa, what can we change? Because if we don't change it today, tomorrow, or immediately, and we just get back into the same system that we've been using for the Industrial Revolution, where are we headed?
Yeah.
According to the science, we're headed for destruction. And there's a part of me that says, oh, well, if that's the way it is, then so be it. People would rather destroy themselves and the very nature that we live in than survive. I mean, is that innate within us or something? What the hell's wrong with us?
Yeah, we're going to keep this video under 10 minutes, but just quickly, Dean, have you heard about the record profits in the fossil fuel industry? They're massive record profits.
I know, it's incredible. What is it? Why? And it seems like one of those endless things. It's a problem within a problem, a conundrum within a conundrum, or a conundrum within an enigma. I don't know if you guys understand those terms, but basically you got we need to mine to make copper to make batteries, but we need to use the machinery that's based on an oil or a synthesis that we need to produce, and those machines. It's like a catch-22 situation. How do you get out of this? How do you get out of creating such an atmosphere that it becomes so toxic even to survive in it? And Australia, being such a beautiful place, one of the most unique places in the world, are suffering because we're very slow with the technology, and we've got to be very careful with our ecology here because it's one of the most delicate in the world. We have the most unique species, the unique flora, fauna, the oldest indigenous tribes in the world, and yet we're doing the same thing. We just keep going, plodding along. Let's start up the car, let's get to work, we've got to make money.
I think that
corporate is taking advantage of it.
I think that on that subject, Dean, I think Australia is in line for massive climate disasters. I think the floods that we've had are going to be outpaced even more by the fires and the heat. I think Australia is lined up, is poised for massive climate disruption. What do you think about that? In the next, I give it a 2 to 3 years, but I think within 5 years we will have massive record temperatures like they're seeing in Europe now.
I think I've watched quite a few of your videos, Ian, Green to say, is that you've hit on this topic many times, and I think that you're on point. You're right on the mark as far as how that system works, and there needs to be paid attention to, and the only way that we're going to go forward, whether or not it's conspiracy and opinion or actual corporate greed, we need to start looking at it, because if we don't, what is the alternative? And that's basically what we're saying here. What is the alternative? We don't have another alternative. I mean, you've got people rushing to build another civilization while we're ruining this one. What the hell are we doing? It's kind of like an Atlantis 2.0 or 222, 2022, 23. It's crazy.
Okay, thanks for your thoughts, Dean, and we'll wrap it up there. This is Green to Stay Eco, the Dean.ProQuo, signing out.